Live. There we go. We are live. This is exciting. Yes, it's happening. It's happening. I'm just gonna wait a few seconds for people to start coming in. I'm just excited to be back. I was off on Tuesday, and I'm so glad to be back with my homies.
We missed you, lady. We missed you, both you and Faye.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were out too, Faye, but yes,
I miss Tuesday.
Yes, we got to get all in one setting again. But I miss my girls when I'm not with my homies. I feel it. You feel me? But I definitely glad everybody's coming in. I just want to say welcome to Melanated Air. I am I'm typically Lene Gervais is moderator, but I am today. I'm Madam President. You can always find me at One Madam President. And I am with the queens, okay? I am with the Faye Bishop, all right? And, I am with my sister, Teddy Ewing, okay? Teddy is actually in the Middle East, am I right?
Yep, Egypt, Middle East, Africa. Let's just say Africa instead.
Yes, come on. Africa. Teddy is in Africa. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody just came in and said, B1, what's up, fam? B1. Let my B1 brothers and sisters. This segment today is going to be light and lovely, okay, ladies?
Yes, it is.
Light and lovely. What's up from Cali? Okay. We know that 2021 came with the foolery. Okay. So we just been backstage talking about how we are coming up with things that we are not taking into 2022. And since my girl Faye Bishop, this is all her right here, y'all. This is Faye in the flesh. This is her. I'm going to go ahead and let her start off with Faye. I got to know where you got this whole concept from, and start off with that one thing that you are not going, we shouldn't be taking in 2022.
Absolutely. So I was having this conversation yesterday with my significant other over lunch, and he made a joke about something in the food. I don't even recall it, but he said, "Oh no, we ain't taking that into 2022." And I started falling out laughing. And I said, we shouldn't be taking a lot into 2022. I mean, 2021 was sheer, utter chaos. Every day there was something. Every week there was something. Every month there is something. We don't know what is going to happen from one day to the next. But what we do know is that we don't want to take any of this with us into the new year. I'm sure I'm right about that. Let me know in the comments. Yeah. So starting with one of the things that I don't think we should take into the year 2022, if you all can let me know what we shouldn't take into 2022, definitely let us know in the comments as well. You can add on to what we are going to discuss here today. I want to start it off by saying, turning everything into a cliche, particularly where it pertains to mental health and Black wellness. And the reason why I am saying that is because there has been, over the past, I would say 6 or 7 years, especially since the explosion of social media, a bunch of social aesthetics that are being created on a consistent basis. We have bussin', words like bussin'. Everybody's throwing out the word toxic at every turn. Everybody's a savage. Everybody is calling somebody narcissistic. Everybody's calling everybody a fuck boy, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I just want to say this. We tend to throw around labels, like we're labeling everything like a carton of food, like some sort of item in the fridge that we want to throw out. That's the way we're throwing out labels these days. And social media definitely is a big contributor to it. But what I want to say is that stop using these words so cavalier and incessantly the way that you do. Number one, less than 1% of the world's population is truly narcissistic, okay? To know whether or not you or someone is actually suffering from this very real personality disorder, it requires a clinical diagnosis, okay? It does. So Don't just throw this around at people simply because they made you mad. You're frustrated. You're emotional. They've disappointed you in some form or another, and you're in your feelings. Don't do that. I feel the same way about words like toxic, fuckboy, savage. We tend to throw out toxic masculinity. We're talking about fat shaming, and the most yes, and the most famous word we have used this year is cancel. Cancel this, cancel him, cancel her, cancel that, and cancel everybody, right? And another one that irritates me very much is generational curses, which I know is another popular phrase. Again, these are all social aesthetics, and they are incredibly overused. But more than that, they're very incredibly self-depreciating. Okay, there's nothing positive or even empowering about any of those words. And they carry a very negative connotation, a very low vibrational energy. And it's something that heading into the year 2022, we must learn to really detach ourselves from and not take with us into the new year, because what we're doing with a lot of these social aesthetics, and it's been happening from generation to generation, by the way, what we're doing is we're training ourselves to create like this psychological conditioning where through repetitive interaction with certain types of content, we're telling ourselves and teaching ourselves to always see yourself or people around you as lesser than or some sort of victim. And we're Black people, we're melanated, we are strong, we are empowered, we are pretty much a family unit. We are not narcissistic, we're not fuckboys, we're not toxic, we're not savages, we're not evil. All of us are not carrying a bunch of generational curses with us. We are not victims.
I don't have to disagree with you on them generational curses, though.
But you have to have it.
Go ahead.
The thing about generational curses is that it's subjective. It's not something that is one size fit all. And I think when we use those kinds of terminologies, like I said, those minted terms, same thing with savage, toxic, narcissism. It's not one size fit all. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make here. And you have to be very careful with how you throw them around. You can't just assume that because, okay, this group over here grew up a certain way or was raised a certain way that, oh, that's meaning that meant all of us are like that. Or because this person has disappointed me, then he, she, or they is narcissistic too. Or fuck, like I said, it's fuck boys, savages. Do you honestly, and you guys could tell me in the comment section, what kind of positive connotation follows or positive good vibration follows those kinds of terms? Those are all doused in that. To me, I always say demonic, but I don't want to take it there on a spiritual sense. But they have very negative connotations, and it creates this psychological condition. And this is coming from a standpoint of psychology. It creates a psychological conditioning. If I constantly told you every single day or called you a name every single day, if someone calls me a B word every single day, I'm hearing, then I'm going to start saying it to other people. Then they're going to start saying it to everybody else. And then it's going to start like this trickle down effect, and nothing comes from it.
I get you.
Nothing. And we tend to do that a lot across social media. And where it pertains to things like trauma and narcissism, none of us are licensed clinical psychologists. You have to see one in order to get a diagnosis or to know if you or a person close to you is suffering from something. So that's another thing that I think we need to add context to before we just start throwing out the terminology. That's what I wanted to start with not taking into the year 2022. Let's start to be more empowering and uplifting to each other, and start to use words that aren't degrading and doesn't denigrate the collective.
Yeah.
Teddy, you were trying to chime in. What did you have to say about that?
I mean, I'm following on that. Like the great word you used, Faye, was low vibrational energy. Like those low vibration words, I'm with you, because it just brings you down, right? Like what good can follow when I be like, he's a narcissist or he crazy or whatever. I saw in the comments someone said, instead of generational curses, what about generational trauma? I mean, I think sometimes you have to call out the elephant in the room, right? And I know we all suffer from generational curses. And I think a lot of them are like, in my family, financial curses. And I say, I'm not giving that to my kids. So when I see myself doing it, or I see me picking up a bad habit or doing something or saying something that one of my parents or grandparents said or did that's not going to bring fruit, then I catch myself right away. Now, I may not call it a generational curse out loud, but that's exactly what it is. But now I'm feeling you, Faye. Absolutely. One who said it is that, can we stop calling kings? Where she said, oh, stop calling certain men kings when they have no kingdom. I love it, honey.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's another word. See how we're just titling and labeling everything like all of the time. And it's coming from memes and we're seeing it on quotes. And I get it. It's creating a certain type of dialogue. That's why we have shows like Melanated Air to talk about it and discuss it. It's healthy. But on the back end, it's like, why are we labeling everything? It's like we're turning everything into a cliche. Right. And it's just something that we need to stop, most especially if you're not going to offer context when you throw it out. Like if I break up with my boyfriend tomorrow, I'm not going to say, well, we broke up because he's just a narcissist. You're going to want to know more than that. You're going to want to explore exactly what took place in the relationship. What is it about his personality? But we're not doing that. We're just throwing titles and labels out there about people. And it's just like, don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that.
I personally do not like when people like to say a person is a narcissist. And I don't like the overuse of the word toxic, because I do believe that everything isn't toxic. And a lot of times, like a person expressing how they feel about something, that's not a toxic person, because you can't handle verbal communication like an adult, So sometimes I feel like in our world, we going into this false world, and social media has this false world. So you'll find a lot of, I don't like to belittle people or call them stupid or dumb, but you'll find a lot of dumb people, pretending as if, they know a narcissist, from a non-narcissist. They really don't know. Or a person who's extremely like an abusive relationship, or, a person who has, that may not be compatible, but for some reason they call it toxic. It's like all of these things. It's like, I don't know if that falls into the line, but I do believe, as a person who does go to therapy, that, I did talk to my therapist about the overuse of these terms. I was like, how do you know when a person is an actual narcissist? All these people just walking around throwing out these terms like they got 20 years of clinical psychology experience. And it's like, girl, no. One of the things that I wish that we would take, that we should not take into 2022 is, and that is, I don't think that we should take symbolism over actual tangible change. I know that we have a culture, and I also think, speaking of the word culture, I think that the Black community can really get definitive about what's the culture. I see a lot of people say things like, "Oh, it's for the culture. It's for the culture," and it's like, drinking mimosas is not for the culture.
what culture is we talking about?
Right.
Like, what exactly is a culture? Can somebody please tell me what's the culture? Because, if a group of white folks was responsible for what's considered to be our culture, it would be their stereotypes that we have. Then we can come back and we say, well, we rebel against those stereotypes and those things, and this is our culture. But I really want to know, what is our culture, and what's that thing that progresses us culturally? Because I do think a lot of Black people do suffer from that whole, just because I'm Black doesn't mean my experience is the same as somebody else. And I don't take that away from them. But the one thing that I do believe is that oppression is the same all around, whether it feels different to you or not, it's there. Systemic racism is present, whether you receive some of it on a daily basis or not, it's there. So that's one of the things too. And the last thing I'm gonna say, Teddy, because I want you to kind of roll out something that you want, and that is, I want us, and this is something that I really do have a really genuine interest in, like us truly changing the Democratic Party. I want us to stop being political if we're not going to be political, right? Like, if we're going to be in politics, let's get in politics, okay? Let's get real. I'm so tired of the Democrats and the Republicans, but it's something that I noticed. And I saw somebody write an article I was following on social media that says Kamala Harris wearing a Michael Kors ball gown. And then there was another article, remember when she was running, and I think she was the VP, they used this language of connection. They used the language of, oh, Kamala Harris, she rocking the chucks. Never seen the VP so fly. Y'all, that shit is not working.
It don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
When it comes to policy, when it comes to change, all them ball gowns and them chucks ain't meaning a thing when it comes to Black people. And that should be problematic. It should be a problem that somebody is connecting with you on, clothes and shoes. Meanwhile, all of the political and the tangible change is happening for all other ethnic groups beyond yourself. Like, that should anger everybody. You know
what?
Exactly.
I'm glad you said that, because what that says is that we have to be a lot more mindful about what we advocate for. Mm-hmm. So I'm so happy you brought that up, Chanel, because we do tend to advocate, I feel, for the wrong things, but it's a conditioning that, like you said, they tend to use certain languages that they know that we're through our conditioning, we're going to latch on to, such as the chucks that she had on, Black Girl Magic. They threw that out there consistently during the presidential election. They constantly tried to remind us at every turn that Kamala Harris was a Black woman, which that is up for debate. But it speaks to your point. You know what I mean? About how
I can say is they try to. I'm not going to talk about politics long, because I honestly hate talking about it, honestly. But they try to guilt people into making a decision when they do not have all the facts. So instead of what Madam President just said, just withholding, unless you know what the hell you're doing and what you're talking about, I would much rather us just withhold the vote and withhold our opinion and withhold any place in it, then do something that you don't understand because you're trying to be a part of the cool game, because it's not helping. So I'd rather just you stand back and say, I don't have nothing to do. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to stand back here. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't do anything. You should wait and then learn and then do something. And we will be much more powerful that way, instead of making decisions based upon peer pressure from the outside saying, you got to do this, rock the vote, this and that, when you don't even know what you're voting for. You don't know what that person's going to do because you haven't done any research. So that's that.
Yeah, be mindful about what you advocate for.
That's it.
That's it.
Now, one thing I definitely want to leave back in 2021 and not take it to 2022 is resistance to change. We as Black people, I'm all about my cryptocurrency, y'all, and the blockchain. We have to stop being scared of things that are new and different, and everybody ain't into it. Like, I have a good girlfriend who heard about Bitcoin back in 2017, and she immediately asked some of her coworkers, and she was working at the Pentagon at the time. She asked some of her coworkers at the Pentagon about Bitcoin, and the people she asked all had something negative to say, knowing damn well they didn't even know what they were talking about, right? She didn't know that, but she's just like, have you guys heard about this? What do you think? And everyone had something negative to say, so she dropped it. And she never pursued it again until this year. So I say, you have to be your own person. In 2022, be your own person. If you find interest in something and it piques your interest, do your own digging in it, do your own research about it. Find, with social media, man, I mean, like this generation is so lucky. If I was in my teens and I could have social media access where I could just find the answer to anything by going online and Googling it, I would be a whole nother person. Like, I think I'm pretty amazing now, but I would be like a whole higher level of amazing if I could have done that in my teens. So you don't even have to talk to the people Go online, find a group that you connect with, and ask them about Bitcoin and see what they have to say, or anything. Just stop being so resistant to change and resistant to things that don't look like something that you've always been doing and always been experiencing.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
I am. Did you want to say something, Chanel? I'm sorry.
yeah, I just said me too. Go ahead, Fab.
Because that is something that, for whatever reasons, we've been doing that for a long time. That resistance to change, or just because something is unfamiliar to us, we feel as though it's not good for us. So I do believe firmly that we need to change our attitudes going into 2022 about resistance to change, because one of the things that isn't working for us is going along with what everybody else is doing. I will be the first to say that going along with the status quo, which is what it is what has led us here to this place where we are now. Even if you want to cut out everything else, such as the many horrible things that we've had to deal with in our community for so long, that was implemented through systematic racism and, everything. And you just use the year 2021, just standalone 2021. We went along with way too much of the status quo, and it isn't benefiting us now. In fact, I feel as though not enough is being talked about as to what we went along with that is going to impact not only us, but our children and our grandchildren, just through a lot of the COVID-19 policy that has been implemented. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about the mental illness and emotional setback that we've had to endure, all because we went along with the status quo this year. And that's something that we definitely should not take into 2022. So that's a really good one, Teddy. Truly, being resistant to change. We have to stop.
We do. But Teddy, I mean, why do you think we are resistant to change the way that we are? I mean, change is difficult. We are creatures of habit, like people say, like, if you're trying to get home, you can go the same route almost with your eyes closed. They can literally be like, I can take you on a faster route. You'd be like, no, I don't know that. I don't know that way. I don't know that way. I'll take me home the way I know how to go. So that's the thing. Like, a lot of things are changing around us though. From currency, as you discussed, as well as I'm still doing so much YouTube research on the whole metaverse. I'm like, what in the world is going on? NFT is so many different, and sometimes I think it's overwhelmingly challenging.
It is. It's a responsibility.
Yeah.
You have to do the work. It's not easy. Change is very uncomfortable. I think we've said in a few different episodes that people would rather stay in chaos or toxic uncomfort, right? Discomfort, than move to something that may be better, but that it's uncomfortable. Like I always talk about the butterfly. If you've like taken a science class, whenever in high school, whatever, that the caterpillar like turns into mush and then reforms itself and becomes a butterfly. So that process cannot be comfortable. It can't feel good. Them 2 weeks are probably hell, but look at what emerges out of it. So we just have to start, coming out of the comfort zone to find out what's going to be better, because you have to look at your generations before and say, did that work for them? Did that work for you? And some people are just comfortable being in, that median phase. And then others are always looking and seeking. I'm a seeker, not for seeking's sake, but because I'm just trying to reach that thing. I'm always going for that thing, and that's freedom. So I'm on the quest for freedom. And so it keeps me going, but you have to have that motivation. You have to have a why. And if you don't, well, then maybe change ain't for you. If it's working, if it ain't broke, I guess you don't have to fix it, but it ain't working for me. So that's why I'm always looking for something different.
That's good. Faye, do you have anything else that you don't think that I know one thing that I'm not taking into 2022. I'm not taking these large ass astronomical goals as if I'm some 18-year-old who's headed to California to have, let all my dreams come true. I'm just going to keep everything that I want to do at a space of realism as well as extravagance, real enough to accomplish, extravagant enough to be a goal that requires some push, some effort. But I do believe that sometimes in our community, in our culture, everything is so massive. And as I've gotten older, because I think I had that same desirous attitude, I think, growing up, where the house had to be big and the car had to be new and, the money had to be, you got to see it. Shit, the older I get, I'll be like, it's peace and quiet. This is what grandmother was talking about when we damn, I'll do anything for some peace and quiet around here, like all those things are so, that the things that don't cost a thing, you be like, man, we ain't got through the week, ain't no attitude, no drama, the family's good, we ain't had no deaths, believe it or not, I had quite a few family deaths this year. And it was painful, to kind of to experience this world that never takes a break.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm taking all the damn breaks that I need to take next year. Every last
one. I love it.
Unapologetically, I am pulling away. I don't care. I even wrote down in one of my notebooks, I am a slave to nothing. I'm not money. Yeah. Money, viewership, likes, comments, share, nothing. So like I just really want to keep that mindset for 2022 as well.
I love it.
I love it too. Oh my God. Madam always takes us to church with that one.
There you go.
All right. So another thing that I don't think we should be taking into 2022, I know that I have long stopped carrying it with me, but I think it's time now, especially after all we've had to endure this year. And that is blame, projection, and the denial of facts. It's y'all, I know they have this saying where I'm speaking my truth. Everything is my truth, my truth, my truth, my, I, right? All of this individualism. How can you speak in that way when the collective at large is suffering or the collective at large is having to endure a lot that's going on? You shouldn't speak that way because no man is an island. At least that's what I've always been taught to train to think, And one of the things about speaking my truth or, all about me and making it all about me is that you tend to deny reality in a way to kind of, you use it as a way to like deny reality or the truth as it is, as a means to just avoid situations that you're uncomfortable with.
Right.
Or avoid things that, withhold like this validation that you're seeking through whatever experience. That's not how it works. The fact of the matter is that there's a lot going on and we have been lied to about a whole lot of things. And just because the truth makes you feel uncomfortable doesn't make it any less real. It is real, So I think that we have to watch it and be careful when we deny facts, when they're staring you in the face, at times physically, not just through, words on the screen. Like things are actually physically happening out here where we're witnessing it firsthand, thanks to so much video and thanks to the fact, I won't say thanks to, but there's just been a lot of death and loss this year all across the board. And we have to realize that these are actually events that are actually, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Chanel, you're unmuted.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
That these are actually events that are actually taking place. This is verifiable reality. So we have to get out of this state of denial and stop using blaming and projecting things and trying to use all of these like anecdotal concepts to say, well, it didn't happen for her or it didn't happen for him. Well, I did it and me. And again, my truth, I, when, yeah, that's your truth, but that does not negate the reality that's taking place around us and who it's impacting at large, the people that it's impacting at large.
Well,
so I think that
I'm going to say that a lot of people are emotional, and you said that.
Too emotional.
They're too emotional, and you have to think about someone that has, like, just say you have a disease and it's festering in your body, but you're really busy and you're doing all these other things, and you really haven't stood there and said something different's happening to me because you haven't let yourself process that, right? But when you finally do and you realize, you're like, wow, I've noticed this has been happening for a year or two or whatever. And that's kind of like what you're talking about. In order to do that, to stop blaming and all that, people have to just take a step back and really analyze what is right in front of your eyes. I mean, how many times do people not see what is blatantly right in front of them because they haven't taken the time to just look at it at face value and truth, right? They're looking at it through the lens of all the lies or propaganda or whatever that's been made about these things. And we're talking about this fits into a lot of categories.
Yeah, it does.
But it's like, if they don't take the time to just say, that don't make no damn sense. Like, wait, say what you said again? Like, it just don't make sense. But how many times do people repeat stuff that's completely, I call them conflating, when they're talking about two things? Like, I did this when I was just saying that those two things have nothing to do with what's happening right now. But anyway, I'm with you.
I think the motivations and causes of denialism, I mean, you're right, they fit in a lot of categories, from religion, self-interest, economic, political, financial. But what I've come to learn is that the blame projection part of it is just merely a defense mechanism. And it's meant to protect your sight from the denialism against the mentally disturbing facts and ideas. And again, it's often called cognitive dissonance, but whatever it is that makes you feel uncomfortable, we tend to put up these protective barriers around ourselves to say, no, la, 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 it's not happening. And it's like, no, this is 100% real. And I could say so many things about what is real using just the current year 2021, where we were led to believe one thing, but the facts showed us something different. And yet you have tons of people who are still going along with what it is that we were told versus what it is that is actually happening. So we really have to take into 2022, getting out of that state of mind where we're doing a lot of blame projecting and just denying the facts.
Yeah. I'm looking in the comments and I saw, that's what it was. Nev Miriam. We'll be talking about what to bring into 2022. I think we will. We maybe not this conversation, but we are going to definitely do that, because once you've decided what you're leaving behind, it is important to assess what you are taking with you. And as a matter of confidence, say, how are we going into the new year? Who are you going to be? What are you going to do? And I think we just can't let the occurrences in the public and in social media overtake our own lives, right? We are the masters of our house. And Madam President, it was a few weeks ago, you were talking about how can we save the world? We can't even control or take care of our own house, our own sphere of control. And it's so true. Like, we got to get ourselves together. We got to get ourselves healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally. Then we can go out in the streets and talk about telling other people how to get healthy financially. I mean, like, there's so much work to do at home. And if more people, I mean, we were all trapped in our homes for over a year. Like, some people are still teleworking. Me and Faye were just talking about that.
Yes.
Home and still may not have a good handle on your home, right? So we just need to master our castles first and then go out into these streets. And I saw someone talking about reparations and all that. Reparation discussion need to leave in 2021. Whatever it is, we can't go in these streets until we got our homes under control.
I agree.
We're gonna talk about them reparations now.
We gonna talk,
Yes, we
we're
are.
gonna talk about Black Wall Street too, but I know you may not want to hear it, but we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, yes, we are.
We want that money.
But meanwhile, we're building our own reparations. We are trying to build systems that engage our own reparations, because I can't, here's something we're gonna leave in 2021: expecting someone to give us something, because it ain't gonna happen. You have to go get yours. You have to work for what you want. Nobody's gonna hand it to you. I'm not saying you don't deserve it. That's not my words. It doesn't matter what you deserve. It matters what you're going to seek and what you're going to actually get. And all of that takes hard work. It takes discussion. It takes pounding that pavement, literally or figuratively. We have to go out there and make those things happen. They will not fall in our lap by any means.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have one last thing to add now that Teddy has brought that up. Since someone said something about reparations, one of the things I think we need to focus on going forward into 2022 and beyond is focusing in the now. We can talk about Jim Crow all day. We could talk about slavery all day, because it is a very deep conversation and it's a lot to unpack there, right? But what we need to focus on, especially now, is the rights that are being yanked out from under us as we speak. And there are many. COVID-19 and this whole pandemic has set off an entirely different kind of reset, unlike anything that any of us have ever seen before and have ever witnessed before. So we need to understand and really take a look at a lot of the policy that is being created in all of these acts, and stop thinking, well, they're giving everybody the stimulus money and they're hushing us up with whatever kind of money that's coming in along with these acts, and actually sit down and read what's a part of these acts that's going on. Because we didn't expect, for them to come after our money so soon. That whole $600 with the IRS, we didn't expect that to be implemented. That's going to affect a lot of small business owners. These mandates are affecting a lot of workers, particularly Black people, disproportionately, not necessarily because we want the job, we're running the business, but because a lot of us need those jobs and they know we do.
Mm-hmm.
That's also affecting us. So I think that a lot of people really need to just not only just look at then, but also take a look at what's happening in the now, and really, really examine, all of it, because this is what a lot of us voted for. And this is why I say it's very important to know who you're voting for, what you're voting for, and where they stand on certain issues, particularly where it pertains your personal interests, because a lot of what's taking place does affect our personal interests. And I had a discussion, it was actually an argument, so to speak, with a young lady over on TikTok some days ago, where she was kind of made this video where she dialed up how Generation Z is so marvelous and so great, and they're overcoming a lot. And I'm like, honey, if you look at the policy that's being passed, they're setting Gen Z up for failure. They are creating an atmosphere where it's going to be difficult for you to provide for yourself and for your children. They are. So it's very important for us to focus in the now and the civil rights that are being yanked from us in the now.
Or given away freely and happily.
Yes.
Not just taken.
I sometimes when you say that, I think about the rolling out of artificial intelligence, how it's about to go to another level, AI. And the crazy part is, it's kind of like our grandparents had the factories get shut down because of the computers. Now we got the computers in the palm of our hands, and now they got the robots that's going to take over the computers. The computers is what we mastered, but it's like, no. Now, we're tired of the physical labor. Now we're going to make the robots. Since you already don't like to use your brain in the first place, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to program somebody else to do the job that you don't want to do in the first place. So I believe that I mean, we headed to the metaverse.
Well, we are in the metaverse, y'all. Like, me and my husband talk about this all the time. And like I said, I know I'm crypto like biased, but think about when we were all teleworking, most people when you're in your homes and we have to take Teams. We use Microsoft Teams, whether it's Teams, WebEx, Adobe Connect, whatever it is you were using for your job. If you had an office job, you're in Teams having this meeting. So what if in 2 years your job's like, okay, now all our virtual meetings going to be in the metaverse? What you gonna say? You're gonna be like, okay, like we're on, a lot of y'all watch us on YouTube, Facebook. If you've used an emojicon, you're like in the metaverse. If you have an avatar as your profile picture, you're in the metaverse. Like you don't realize it, but this toe step into the metaverse is going to be so easily transition. You're not even gonna know. So you think you don't want to be in the metaverse? You are there, my brother.
You better get with it.
You better get with it. And like I always say, you better find out some way to how to make money off of it, because they're gonna be making money off of you, or you're gonna be making money off of it, but you are going to be participating. So figure out how you want to participate. Do you want to participate and make some cash off your participation, or do you want them taking from you as you're paying your attention to the metaverse? But it's happening. It is happening right in front of our eyes.
And that's why I said we need to pay attention, just to piggyback off that, to what's happening in the now. You know, when we talk about things like Black Wall Street and building Black Wall Street, and I look at the number of Black businesses that are thriving, or were prior to this pandemic, were thriving, all in places like Atlanta and Charlotte, North Carolina, and just all of these different cities that have gone about, you know, where it's just like these densely populated cities, urban areas where you have a lot of Black businesses and people who are doing their own startups. And isn't it interesting that at the height of all of that happening, all of a sudden, any transaction over $600, they want to tax?
When ain't nobody making no money, hardly.
You know, and that's just one example among many others that they're like pushing forward. You know, they know a lot of these kids were becoming millionaires over the TikTok, and people with the Cash App and all of that. Oh no, they're coming for your money, and it's going to affect you. And that's why you got to get with it. You got to come into the metaverse. Even if you don't want to invest in crypto right away, because I'm team crypto too. I've been team crypto since 2018. You better learn about it. Learn as much as you can, all you can, and learn about investing too. And I know that we have the blackbusinessschool.com for that. So
there you go. Crypto investing, Forex just launched. Like, come on over, find us.
Yeah,
exactly. We're there.
I'm going to let you guys have your final moment. We at the 43-minute mark. I'm going to let you have your final moment. Faye, I'll start with you since this was your baby.
All I want everybody to do is just really take the next few weeks, because I think we're about 3 weeks now out from the new year, to really do some evaluating and assessing about what it is you want to leave behind and what you want to take into the new year. And in the process of you doing all of this self-assessment, really take into consideration all that has happened just within the last 18, 19 months, and whether or not that has shaped or reshaped your outlook on your personal situations, not just the world, but just your personal situations, and how the last 18 months has impacted you and your family. Okay. So I know that we're talking about what we're leaving behind, but definitely think about what you want to take into the new year as well.
I like that. I definitely, I want to say that, you know, I'm not a big New Year's resolution person, but I like momentous occasions, right? And I think going into the new year is symbolic, is representative of something. So why not reevaluate and reassess your situation and just kind of take some deep breaths, be still, like really use this time. Like I saw a post that said something to the effect of, Black folks don't really be celebrating these holidays. We just enjoy the time off. Like, that's me. Like, I just enjoy time off. So I take this time off and I really just reflect, and I try to be quiet. I try to be still and really evaluate what's going on around me with my family, with my kids, and say, what do I want? What worked? What didn't work? What are my goals? How am I going to reach those? And how am I going to, remember who I am? Madam President, remember who the hell you are. Like, who are you? And then once you know that, make every step you make forward in honor of your true self, your true identity. And I think you'll be walking in truth. Like, if you're doing that, you're just trying to be present and conscious, good things will happen. So you have to disconnect from the metaverse and social media and chasing things and envy and greed and all these other things and confusion and lack of common sense and not seeing what's right in front of you. You got to let all that go and just kind of see the world as it really is through your own eyes and move forward like that. So I'm looking forward to 2022. I'm always looking forward for another day in this life. So yeah.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it as well. So one of the underused words I think that I look forward to is no. People have a hard time saying no. And I think as I have grown and become just more active in my business and become better professionally, there's so much power in no. There's so much peace in no. It's so much, it's so much life, and I'm not able to do that and be okay with it. Be okay with whatever yacht you missing. I'm okay if somebody else riding a Rolls Royce. I'm okay with that, because I'm okay with my life's choices. So I'm with you all. I'm taking the no, just the use of it. And most of all, clarity, just always being clear-minded and intentional all 2022. And as you all know, where you can find us here on Melanated Air every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. The one thing, Faye, she is at Miss Faye Bishop on everything, Twitter and Facebook. And
Instagram. On Instagram, I'm just Faye Bishop.
Okay, Faye Bishop on Instagram. And we have D. Teddy Ewing, the Real Teddy Talks on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Teddy, I don't know if I ever asked you this, and maybe I'm being random right now, but you have I hate to be that person. You're not into Patrick Ewing, are you?
No, I'm glad you know who the hell he is.
Okay.
No, we are not. That's my husband's last name. We are not, but that's how you tell your age, because people don't know Ewing. They don't know how to pronounce it, anything. I'm like Patrick or JR. Like, you got to know one of them, but no, these.
Right.
If you ain't over probably 35, you don't know Patrick and you don't know JR Ewing. So,
right.
No,
I played basketball. So, I used to play ball. So I was like, okay, every time I see you, I think I meant to ask Teddy this. Also, you guys can find me at One Madam President on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, as well as I am the owner of the Freedom Company on Instagram, and on YouTube, you guys can check me out at One Madam President. But we enjoy this. We enjoy seeing you all, and we will see you guys next Tuesday at 2:00. Be well.
Love y'all. Bye.